All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media, live from the broom closet. That's still good, but I did, this stuff all my life, so it's kind of. But you know what? I broadcasted. I have literally broadcasted from all different kinds of places, so this is no different. So I'm just gonna go ahead and be professional. Anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about Paul Pierce. Also want to talk about the mummies in Cairo, Egypt. All right, so here we go. All right, now the whole mummy thing. In fact, I'm gonna start off with the mummies because that should be short, sweet, and to the point. Paul Pierce. I got a little bit more to say about that, and really want to know kind of, what the deal is. Anyway, so in Cairo yesterday, they moved a whole bunch of mummies to a new museum that they built and created, and of course, you know what that's all about. It's all about the money because they're going to charge, of course, now they're going to charge y'all to come in and see these remains. There are 22 of them. Well, actually, there's 18 kings and 4 queens. All right, and they're from approximately 2,000 years ago, like right around the time that your boy Jesus Christo, Jesus Christ, supposedly was on the earth, but nobody can find nothing of his. But they got everything from everybody else. So in fact, that whole time period, these mummies are from, and their artifacts and all that are basically preserved. And the other thing is, they made a procession. So they had this big parade, and they had marching bands and girls, all of this stuff. It was like a real parade, and they built these vehicles. The vehicles basically were designed after ancient Egyptian chariots. So they actually made the design from what they found in the papyrus and in the hieroglyphs. So now here's my thing, and of course once again real Africans, and I'm not saying that the current Egyptians aren't real African, but the people that sacrificed for Kemet are not getting paid, of course, because we were ran out. The Greeks and the Romans basically ran us out of there, and so all of us ended up mainly in West Africa. Okay, so and in North Africa and in Portugal and Spain, et cetera, which is why the Portuguese started the slave trade, because they knew who they was dealing with. That's right. And we were pushed to the west coast and to the east coast of Africa, and of course we know that they got most of us from the west coast of Africa because it was easier to transverse the Atlantic Ocean than go all the way around the Horn of Africa. Matter of fact, people still don't try not to travel. That's around the Horn of Africa. And they go through the canal there. That's why when the canal was blocked with that boat, everybody was tripping. They were like, "Oh, how are we gonna get back and forth from from America and all of this." So be aware of their of their thievery again, because the people that are there now, they're a hybrid. They're like Arabs or whatever. So. We'll just leave it at that, and maybe even the terminology errors might be the wrong terminology, but I don't want to study it. All I know is y'all still stealing. 2,000 years later, y'all still stealing our people, digging folks up out the ground, desecrating tombs and everything else. So whatever. All right, so let's move on to Paul Pierce. So now Paul Pierce played for the Boston Celtics, Did he play for anybody? I can't remember if he at near the end of his career. I think he may have played for somebody else, but I didn't look it up. But I do know that he won a championship with the Boston Celtics, and so he's an NBA champion. Okay, and so we realized he I guess while they was moving the pharaohs and stuff and the queens. He decided he was going to have a party. No, it wasn't. It wasn't in response to the pharaohs and the queens, but it was in response to he was off work. So now I'm going to put my spin on this because I don't think and ESPN fired him because of a party that he had. And in the party, they had strippers, they had marijuana, they had alcohol. It was a party. But then he got to work and they fired him. And so the controversy is, well, he was at home on his own free time. Why should y'all care what he does? And social media is a part of life. Now I do tell, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, look, y'all, if you're doing something, don't put it on the internet, or because put it this way: once you put something on the internet, it's always there forever. And once you put something on, in fact, even I tell them about computers and all that. Once you put something on a computer, it's on there forever. They can always go back and find whatever it was that was on the computer. They got software and everything else that's how the police catch people all the time, because they put stuff on their computer and then they think they delete it, but it's never deleted, y'all. And the same thing is true with the internet. If it's on the internet, somebody will pull it up, and it'll be, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, and they'll still be able to pull it up. So you gotta be careful about what you do. But this comes with it comes with an interesting legal background, because if I was Paul Pierce, I would sue ESPN. And they're saying, well, all major contracts like that have a morality clause, but but what he does at home in his spare time is different. So now they're invading your home and telling you what you can and cannot do. Now don't get me wrong. Even this, to me, and this is my own opinion, but to me, all of this cancel culture and all of that kind of stuff, and firing people immediately and all that without due process, the only people that get away with stuff with and demand due process is when police brutality occurs at the hands of black people. I'm gonna say that again. When the police brutalize a black person, male or female, they get due process. When somebody else does something or whatever, they get fired immediately and they get canceled unless you're white and you got a lot of money. Let me say that again. Unless you're white and you got a lot of money. Because I'm still, because me and my wife, we talk about, I'm still waiting on Matt Lauer to go to ever go to court, when they say he had a button on his desk that locked ladies in his office. And I'm still waiting. And then Harvey Weinstein, he's basically going to get a new trial. He never went to jail. They appealed everything. And Bill Cosby got just as much money as he does. And it's not the fact of trying to say that anything is right or wrong, or what Bill Cosby did, if he did it, is right or wrong. What it's saying is that, look, y'all got a huge double standard. And it's just like that, like I was trying to think about that boy, the boy that beat up his wife, the white boy that beat up his black wife, the football player. He beat up his wife and left her for dead. And then when he walked by her, said, "Oh, you still alive," was assuming that she was dead. But, like I said, I can't even think of his name, because as soon as it happened, they took his name out of everybody's mouth. Right? And how many, and even in back in the old days, like when Elvis got married, you know, Elvis was dating a 14-year-old, but you know, but he never faced anything about that. They never put him up with charges and put him in front of court or nothing like that. They never did that. So we got a huge double standard. But anyway, back to Paul Pierce. So and okay, so now what? Marijuana is legal for all intents and purposes. You know, it may not be legal under federal law. And basically, they're only using the federal law for people that are like trafficking. So what I'm trying to get at, and alcohol is legal, and for that matter, strippers are legal. And from what I understand, the girl said that he was a good tipper, that you know that they got paid. And I don't think there's probably not a whole lot of men that watch ESPN that have not been to a strip club or a party where there were strippers. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to get at is some things are okay and some things are not. But if you black, you're gonna get fired. You're gonna get fired immediately. The same thing, because the same thing was true just like with Bill Cosby. They removed all parts of Bill Cosby from everything. He was the most before he got convicted. They took A Different World off. They took The Cosby Show off. They took off, you know, I Spy. They took off Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. They took everything, every piece of media that Bill Cosby ever touched. It was already off the air when he was just accused. He wasn't even convicted yet. And there have been, you know, I can't think of the boy that was on that sitcom, the white boy, and he was doing all kind of stuff, getting high, getting drunk, blah 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 blah, you know, and all of a sudden, but nobody, no, you know, they never messed with him, they never took him off the air, and then they swept it all. Cause see, this is what they do: they sweep it all under the rug, and let these people get away with this stuff because because there's a double standard. And I'm not saying whether this is morally. I'm not you know, I'm not busting up on morals or anything like that. Okay, as a Kemetic priest, morally, yeah, it's all wrong and it's all detrimental to a person's psyche. And eventually, you know, if you do it long enough, it'll catch up with you and it'll cause you problems, especially drug abuse and alcohol abuse. And, you know, on top of that, you know, the strippers with the whole thing about, you know, look, I mean, Kirk Franklin, you know, had the porno addiction and all that kind of stuff. But what happens is it messes with your mind, because what happens is once you know, in a imperfect spiritual world, those are spirits. Okay, so I will say that on the morality tip, but by the same token, if you get caught for the same crime, then you should have the same punishment and the same time. And I've been looking at, you know, looking at lawyer shows and all this kind of stuff. You know, I look at all this stuff, and I'm just like, there's a great disparity in, you know, between black folks and the time that they get, and white folks and the time that they get, and even the cancellation of these people. The cancellation of a black man happens immediately. And sometimes even if he don't do anything, he's immediately, irrevocably canceled. and that's taken, and it's taken away from his money and from his livelihood and from his legacy in order to be able to take care of his family, because those residual income from those shows is there to support his family for the rest of their lives. Anyway, Fast 15 Minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. How you feel about it? Anyway, hit the love button. I love you.